On Sunday, Kremlin tried to exaggerate its rhetoric against Western intervention in Ukraine, demoralize Ukrainians and reassure Russians that West's focus on Israeli crisis would divert Russia from fact that Hamas is already benefiting from its attacks on Israel and will probably continue to use it, a new warning. According to Institute for Study of War, spotlight comes from war in Ukraine. Following Hamas attacks Israel on October 7, Kremlin first accused West of ignoring conflicts in Middle East supporting Ukraine, and claimed that international community would turn its attention to Middle East crisis stop, focusing Ukraine. Russian Security Council Deputy Chairman Dmitry Medvedev said that the United States, its allies, should be busy working on the Palestinian-Israeli solution and should not interfere in Russia's affairs, not provide military aid to Ukraine. ISW reports. Prominent Russian propagandist Sergei Mardan and other Russian newsbloggers aim to impress their audiences, demoralize Ukrainian listeners by stating that the world will turn away from Ukraine for a while, turn towards Israel again, that Russia will benefit from the escalation in Israel. ISW stated that it extinguished the eternal fire in the Middle East. The Kremlin's rhetoric that Ukraine would lose international support was intended to reassure Russian audiences that the international community would ignore Ukraine's war efforts. The group added, reacting to Hamas' coordinated attacks on Israel on Saturday, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy reminded the world in his nightly video speech that they must stand firm against terrorism wherever it appears. Terrorism has opened many fronts against humanity. The war in the Middle East, terrible instability in Africa, constant attempts to provoke a crisis in the world food market. Being strong under these conditions means standing against terrorism. Being a big country is not enough. Being a rich country is not enough. Having ambitions is not enough. Being strong means helping protect people and lives from all forms of terrorism. And that's exactly what happens. Zelenskyy had an urgent phone call with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu on Sunday about situation in Israel and actions of armed forces and law enforcement to repel attack. He expressed Ukraine's solidarity with Israel and expressed his condolences for the many victims. Russian drones winter over 500 in September, Ihnat said in an interview on national television. Despite Ukraine strengthening its air defenses, officials have warned of risk of a new failure this winter in the power grid, which is far from being rebuilt after last campaign. A 27-year-old woman and her baby were among a dozen people injured in a Russian attack in Ukraine's Kherson region, the regional governor said on Saturday. United Nations investigators are the Ukrainian village of Hroza, where 52 people were killed in Russian missile attack this week. During the funeral of a